Hi everyone, I'm Girl Writes What, and as I'm sure many of you have heard by now, several MRM blogs and websites, and at least one pickup artist blog, have now been designated as hate groups by the Southern Poverty Law Center, a nonprofit dedicated to attacking civil rights violations through legal suits, education, and activism. Now, if I were a ruthless and vindictive person, I might share with the rest of you just what I think of the SPLC and its head Morris Dees, but I think I'll leave that to some quotes by more notable people than I. Stephen Bright, for instance, an Atlanta-based civil rights and anti-death penalty attorney, says this: "He has raised millions upon millions of dollars with various schemes, never mentioning that he does not need the money, because he has $175 million and 2 Poverty Palace buildings in Montgomery. He's taken advantage of naive, well-meaning people, some of moderate or low income, who believe his pitches and give to his $175 million operation. He has spent most of what they have sent him to raise still more millions, pay high salaries, and promote himself." Mark Krikorian of the National Review had this to say: "Piggybacking on the 2 minutes hate against Limbaugh, they've found a new arena of hate groups comparable to neo-Nazis and skinheads. The manosphere of misogynist websites including, among others, Rush Vurik, a Maryland-raised PUA pickup artist whose specialty is sex with foreign women. As if that weren't funny enough, one of their sources of information is, I am not making this up, something called ManBoobz.com. The good news is that all that poverty law has enabled the SPLC to amass assets of more than $200 million, ensuring that we will be able to mock it for years to come." Mike Riggs of Reason magazine said, "Take note, America, having consensual sex, Rush is not a rapist but a seducer, with someone you don't actually like, and then never calling her or him again will land you in a reputation-ruining SPLC report." Michael Brendan Doherty of Business Insider: "The SPLC held up for ridicule one DC blogger for saying of American girls that he made it a point to fuck them and never call back. Not rape, just being a jerk. He goes on to say, be careful fellas, if you use your personal blog to rant about women, a civil rights group just might publicize details about your mortgage and medical history." So, as we can see, despite an initial reaction of dismay among MRAs, no one even in the mainstream is really taking any of this very seriously. It's becoming clear that Dees and his very profitable non-profit organization are running out of ways to bilk the well-meaning public of their spare change, to keep the gold plating shiny on the faucets in those nice big palaces of theirs. If they ever were an organization built on ethics and social justice rather than piles of cash, those days are long gone. They have, in effect, become the Jim and Tammy Faye Baker of civil rights. My own A Voice for Men was not immune to their mighty civil rights hammer. Paul Elam's crime? Judging it morally permissible for a man to defend himself, or even hit back, when attacked by a violent female. And adding that perhaps if men were free to respond in such a way, women would be less likely to instigate that kind of violence. As Bill Burr once said, "Women do that because you can't hit 'em, and they know it." Apparently he's a hate group too. Anyway, it seems even HuffPo thinks this latest move on the part of the SPLC is an indication that they've jumped the shark and become irrelevant. So I thought I'd do my best to help them regain their relevance by pointing them in the direction of an actual hate site, one known as Red Fem Hub. Now, I'm just going to read you a few choice bits from an article posted there last October by a Harvard Law School grad, former employment discrimination lawyer, and best-selling author of legal thrillers. As Sheila Jeffries has put it, and I think we all agree, it has to start with this: there is something wrong with men. It is a pathology with both physical and psychological features. I personally think it is as old as our evolution as hominids. I think it's a biological adaptation which is now rotten, dangerous, and vestigial. I think we have to force the scientific establishment to take a clear look at this colossal, sick old mammoth taking up all the space in the living room. We see that compassion, empathy, a willingness to work with men is seized upon and perverted by the system as it has always been, a weakness when dealing with the amoral. We don't make the mistake of wasting our energies trying to persuade men to do anything. We are not naive or idealistic, and we work to avoid falling into denial. There is no romanticization possible of the system. As painful as it is, we choose to act without illusions, especially the illusion that the system can be fundamentally changed from within. Joanna Russ presented us with an early vision of a woman-only society. James Tiptree Jr. wrote a story in which the women characters flee Earth entirely. Some say an Earth with only 10% men will be a safe Earth free of oppression. We need more of these visions. My own personal vision is that women will cure the sickness that ails men, and that men will stay around, hunkered in their man caves playing the ukulele, leaving us in peace at last. As to what that cure may be, my best bet is that what's wrong with men is that their androgens need genetic modification. I'm serious about this. If we can do it with corn, men ought to be easy. Now, that already sounds a little bit hinky. But it's not really until you get into the comment thread that you see the really nasty stuff coming out. We cannot take anything off the table, and that includes biology and biological explanations for men's sickening behavior. And if this turns out to be the case, then to consider a biological solution. We must consider this, that men are biologically, genetically, mentally ill. And the only solution to this is a biological solution, and the last thing they want is for us to solve this problem, the problem of men, them. This is absolutely a taboo subject, but it has got to be discussed, and it is being discussed. There's a few more. There have been compelling scientific proofs that men, because of their Y chromosomes, are doomed to extinction anyway. How about this one? Women need to stop raising male children. Nobody wants to bite that bullet except lesbian separatists, but it must be done. Here's a really good one. As a mother, I can so appreciate it. The not raising male children one is difficult for me, as I have one. I mean, we need female children, and so I'm glad I have a daughter. She was my first. Perhaps I should have stopped at one. Oh, that maternal instinct just coming right through there. More importantly, I think women need to stop giving birth to any more males. I'm so glad that you and others are open to considering a biology-based analysis of what is wrong with men. Look at animals. Females live together in groups. They are the community, and men hover around the outskirts fighting and killing each other. Let's go back to the way it's supposed to be, I say. This is a good one. Even if we killed off 90% of the men, the majority of women left over would do their best to keep the oppressive system. I dare say we'd have to kill off all the women too, and leave the little girls and rad fems to create the utopia. How about this one? The magic number to bring the males under control is about 30% of the population, roughly 2 females per male. The men have managed to kill themselves off with a lot of warring. Then the women get into politics and make a lot of community-friendly political decisions. My vision. A world where mothers are in charge every step of the way. A world where males are shunned by everyone and punished severely. How about this one? It's men that are redundant due to their high fertility. They should be fighting each other, fighting for the right to pass on their genes. Survival of the fittest man is how it really should be. Another one says, actually they, meaning men, should be put on a leash, put in a cage, or put to sleep, just like they do to any animal which causes them any problem. Another commenter says, we have a similar idiot group here in the UK, Fathers for Justice, who love nothing better than telling women they have too much power and they have enough. Even swift bullets are too good for this wankering lot. Someone else chimes in, men can all fuck off and die as far as I'm concerned. Or how about, I think it's a great idea to produce sperm in a laboratory. That way men will be completely redundant. Another one says, that is how we will win. Not birthing males, convincing vast numbers of females not to birth males. We have the absolute power over reproduction and the men know it. So that is our weapon. Oh, here's a really nice one. Actually, now that I think about it, a better source of animal glue, and leather for that matter, would be from the bodies of men who have committed any crime against a woman. They should be put to death, skinned, and then their carcasses can be boiled for glue. She continues, although I think we would be overrun and probably wouldn't have the resources to deal with all the bodies. Well, maybe you could just build some ovens like the Nazis did. How about this one? A 12-inch cast iron skillet to the back of the head speaks far louder than words and allows him to take your point with crystal clarity. Men don't want women taking up their valuable time, so clarity is appreciated. How about this one? Kill off all the alpha males, all the aggressive males, and retrain the remaining more compliant ones. And this. Ah, Lorena Bobbitt, that takes me back. I remember the reactions were distinctly split by sex, and even if the women expressed sympathy for Mr. Bobbitt when they were in mixed company, as soon as no men were around, the women admitted they thought it was cool what she did. And one comment, one that really stuck out to me, was, okay, I would like a world without forced impregnation, psychiatry, gynecology, and patriarchal institutions that attach at the moment a woman becomes impregnated. Now, a world without forced impregnation, I can get behind that. I have my tubes tied. A world without gynecology? Not so much. But I can really see why these women would be attracted to a world without psychiatry. Because then there would be no professionals around to tell them how fucking batshit insane they are. This, Mr. D's, is what a hate group looks like. Here they are talking about eugenics. They're talking about sex-selective abortion. They're talking about infanticide. They're talking about boiling men for committing any crime against a woman, skinning them and boiling them down for glue. They're talking about bodies piling up to the point where there's so many they can't deal with them. They don't have the resources. This is what a fucking hate group looks like. Now, I'm not going to pretend that Mr. Jim Baker of civil rights, Morris Dees, has the ethics or integrity to apply the same bullshit label that he applied to MRM spaces for ridiculous things like a man should be allowed to hit back when a woman is attacking him, or I don't know, I don't like to call my one-night stands back the next day. Or how about American women seem really entitled and have bad attitudes. They get on your list. This and everything attached to it. All of the feminist theory that is attached to it. All of that. None of it has any basis in hate. Right, Morris? Right? I just don't get it. I really don't. Yet again, I am utterly stymied by the ability of people to see anything men say in a negative tone as a threat, and talk of mass murder on the part of women as, oh, well, you know, they're just complaining. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I'm done. I will see you all next time, because I can't talk about this anymore. It's retarded. It is. So I'm going to say goodbye for now.